This race and I have unfinished business. Hey cats, Eddbud here. Here's my race preview for the Salisbury Half Marathon 2021. Hey cats, I ran this route back in 2019. Seems like a lifetime away, and soon I get to have another bite at the cherry. If you're enjoying the content here at Eddbud Running Shoe Reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button, but also click the bell below for notifications of when we roll out those new videos for you. Also helps the channel out if you give this video a thumbs up like. Dankeschön. So firstly to the weather, it's looking somewhat changeable for Sunday. I think last time out we had a mixture of rain and sun and all that kind of stuff. Typically what you get in September here in the UK. And it looks like being no different in 2021. Looks like we could have some 25-mile-an-hour winds. Actually, just looking at it now, they've updated it. Occasional gusts of over 40 miles an hour. Normal wind will be between 10 to 20 miles an hour. And chance of rain is 80%. So, yeah, it's looking great. You never know, it could improve quite drastically. They are wrong sometimes, aren't they? So, fingers crossed. As you can see here guys, the route begins in the city centre and soon moves out to some longer, straighter stretches which are a little bit more exposed. I think the roads are closed off there, if I remember rightly. I don't recall there being any cars. I think it was all sort of middle of the road kind of stuff. It is a 2-lap course taking in minimal elevation. Certainly less than the Bristol half, and of course way less than that time trial I did back in February over the half marathon distance back here in Yeovil. That still remains my best half time, with Strava giving it a 1 hour 30:18. So a massive elevation there. Here in Salisbury it's going to be a little easier, I hope. You'd think the lap nature of the Salisbury course would play into my hands, wouldn't you? Knowing what's coming up in the second lap might make it a little bit easier. But I gotta be honest, it felt a tad tougher when I ran it in 2019. You know just how far you've got to go. Seeing the same landmarks and road again. And there's not going to be an awful lot of people out there on that part of the course cheering you on. So a bit of mental toughness required there, playing it nice and safe on the first lap and then trying to negative split the second one. So we shall see. I've got to show some reserve though guys at the start of this race. I always go out too hot. Half marathon, I just always do it. I must learn control. I attack the first mile there just way too hard every single time. Always come in about 6 minutes 34 or something along those lines. I've got to be more regulated this time. 6:50 Ed, that's what we want. And then just do that over and over again. Every single mile. I think going out too far certainly has dented my chances of getting under 130 in previous races. So as I said, only 150 foot of elevation gain here, which is about as flat and free of hills as you're going to get. Not many turns either. I don't recall there being too many very tight kind of corners or anything like that. I think the only section with any sort of turns or very tight cornering is near the end, as you get close to Salisbury Cathedral. There's a loop around the grass area, then the last loop of the grass to the finish. I recall the next percent outsole being of 0 grip on that grass. It was very leafy as well this time of year. And I remember just slipping and sliding around, and you want to finish strong, don't you? But there's little chance of that in the next percent. Taking that into account, and it's going to be very, very wet, I think I might choose a different shoe for this run. Just a little spice there. Add something else into the mixture. And also I fancy running in some much thinner socks. I need to wear those thicker ones with the next percent too. The 11's probably a little too tight. The 11.5 that I have is possibly a little loose, so I don't really want to wear big thick socks if it's going to be tipping it down with rain the whole way around. By the halfway point they're going to be like sponges, slowing me down. A little bit more on shoe choice in a moment. Last time out I was going great guns up until about the 8-mile point, so around about 13 kilometers. It was all looking good. Sadly though, I got a nosebleed, had to stick some tissues up there, and yeah, it's not easy to breathe when you have to breathe out your mouth. It just really threw me off there. Totally dented my confidence, and yeah, I had to just slow things down a little bit. I managed to canter in there at 1 hour 35, so clearly want to get much closer to my goal this time around. A more conservative first 10k, and then see how I get on. I think that will grant me a much better chance at sub 130 on the Salisbury course this time out. I think it's absolutely doable here. Gotta be honest with you. Everything's in my favour this time around. apart from the 40-mile-an-hour gusts. I think Strava measured that 13.1 mile attempt first time out as 1 hour 33:27. You always got to take into account that some of these courses will always come in a bit over. You're not running perhaps the race line all the way. I do often wonder, it's always about like 0.2 over or something. Pretty much every half marathon. Sometimes you see people actually come in and the course is short. I must feel pretty upset about that. I think I'd continue running if that was the case. I'd sort of do some loops or something. Or has that happened to you guys where you've run some type of race distance and when you've come to actually stop your watch you weren't even close to it? Let me know in the comments. I'd be keen to hear from you. This time round though, I won't have only 4 hours sleep. I'll have some nice fresh legs. No gig the night before. Nothing in fact happening the day before. I'm confident I can certainly get a bit closer to that goal of mine. I think discipline's perhaps the word that I'm looking for here. One thing that could throw a spanner in the works is the 12 midday kickoff time. It's a bit of an odd one. Not really done any races where it's 12. That's lunchtime for me. Normally I'm ravenous by then. I'm a bit of a food machine, guys. I have a very fast metabolism. As such, I'm going to need to try and take on some fuel maybe 2.5 hours before, maybe like a late second breakfast or an early lunch. I know my body well now. We've been together for 42 years, so a fueling reconfiguration will certainly be needed Saturday and Sunday morning. Onto shoes finally, because you know I love them. And I know you do too. So no Vaporfly Next Percent 2 for this one, guys. I'm going to opt for something different. There's no cobblestones to worry about this time, as we had on the Bristol half. Few switchbacks or tight corners. So maybe another shoe can have a bash at this one. Why not? Which one shall I remove from the stable? So in the pouring rain this morning, Tuesday morning, 6 o'clock, what'd you go for? Got to break in these Alphaflys, and they felt really, really nice. 400 meter reps, tapering this week to rest and rejuvenate the legs. I've got to say, these felt really, really stable compared to the Next Percent 2. Forgiving yet fast on those rain-soaked paths this morning. Even at easy pace, just felt easy. I have to say, it wasn't as jarring going back to the Alphafly as I thought it was going to be. And as such, I think it's got to be in the running for Sunday's race. I did have to get the WD40 out though, guys. One of these AirPods was squeaking away, a little application, and job's a good one. I think it was the left lateral air zoom pod. It was squeaking away like a hungry mouse. They certainly didn't look clean anymore, but a quick brush over and they're looking alright. Looking pretty fly again. It didn't feel too tough hitting those 400 meter reps at my 5k pace. Actually, it was a little bit above 5k pace because, I was a bit excited. And the fit just sublime, actually. Once I got my foot in there, you hardly even need to tie the laces up. I think the upper does a brilliant job of actually holding your foot in the shoe. They do need a bit of a hoover though, guys. I noticed lots and lots of debris, rocks and grit and stuff in the front of the shoe, so yeah, I'll get the Dyson on the go in a minute. I think the Adios Pro 2 needs to remain in the ring as well, and also the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite. Spoilt for choice really, but you never hear me complaining, do you? Aside from still not getting a pair of those Berlin Adios Pro 2s. I just don't think it's going to happen. I keep checking, but I still haven't got my size. So will it be the Alphafly and the WD40 combo for Sunday's race? What do you think I should run in, guys? I really, really enjoyed myself in these today, and in the past history notes that I can run well in these with a reduced effort. Maybe. Are you running the Salisbury half marathon? It'll be great to see you if you are. Let me know in the comments. Quick musical interlude for you. This wet and windy weather that we've now got here in the UK reminds me of one of my favourite albums, BRMC by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Pretty much every single track on here is a real winner. Really interesting production on there. It's before they sort of knocked off all the edges and sanded all the stuff down. This sounds raw. Sounds like you've got bits of wood straight from Juicens. It's noisy and uncompromising, and I really love it. First track, Love Burns, is a real classic, one of the best Black Rebel Motorcycle Club tunes. And of course, Spread Your Love, later in the album, is one of those real knees-up Mother Brown rockers. Everybody knows what happened to my rock and roll. That's a great track. And I do often ask that question. Pretty much every day. Just really interesting atmospheres here. Machine gun style drums, lovely semi-acoustic bass as well on some of these tracks, really rounded and hollow and woody. Glistening guitars, which are sometimes very distorted and fuzzy, and interesting vocal performances. I believe both the bass player and the guitarist used to sing on these tracks. Go and check it out, guys. BRMC by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Ideal for the wet, windy weather. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of today's video, guys. Always appreciated. If you haven't done so already, remember to hit that subscribe button and also click the bell so you're notified while I launch these strange videos for you. To help the channel out, give this video a thumbs up like and also share it with your running buddies. My name's Eddbud and I'll be seeing you